for taking the time out, Jeff, to talk to us. I've just been at Eurogamer recently. I played Alien Isolation, and I have to say, I'm not just biased retro gamer here, but I think the Oculus lends itself to Vector for some reason. I don't understand it. I've just played that game. And
I think part of it is that the Oculus has got an OLED screen. If you remember how good TxK looked on the Vita, it's because the Vectors really glow bright, pure against the deep blacks of the OLED. And I think the effect of that, so that effect is even more enhanced in the Oculus where you're fully inside it.
Right. It just seems to be like, is it the colour richness of it all, I think, when you're immersed in it?
Yeah, it's lovely. It's like being inside an 80s Vector arcade game.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in some sort of bubble, as opposed to when I'm playing, you know, I'm not knocking it, the Alien Isolation. I've played a few other games on it, but it feels like a game's being made to try and be an Oculus. Whereas this feels like, I don't know, it's more of an experience than just the game itself.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to give that Tron-like feeling, you know, like when Flynn gets into the machine. That's the kind of feeling I wanted to evoke with it. It's like, wow, I'm inside my favourite coin.
I mean, it doesn't feel, I've got it on the Jaguar Tempest. It doesn't feel like, you know, the game shouldn't be in there, but well, I mean, the original arcade is what, over 30 years old, isn't it now?
Yeah.
But it feels like it was made for it almost.
Yeah, I think Tempest is just a game which stood the test of time, really.
Yeah.
And, I think the changes we made, I think the original coin-op would struggle these days, but the changes we made with Tempest 2000, Tempest 3000, and now TxK have really kept the thing alive.
Yeah. I saw you recently at the Bedroom Civilians premiere. It was interesting talking about the whole, you know, publisher versus kind of coder developer thing. What's your take on the whole, you know, sort of issue of developers maybe in the 80s who lost that control? Do you think it's back again with indie gaming now?
Well, I think the opportunity is there now, yeah, definitely. I mean, there was a time when it seemed that all you would get in the games business was the big high-budget titles, and as was discussed in the film, the high-budget titles suffer from perhaps a lack of creativity because there's so much risk involved for the teams making them. So the return of indie is great because it means that small teams can do small projects, take more risks, try more different things, and yeah, I think there is a place for them now. I mean, obviously you can sell on mobile, even though it's still a bit of a lottery, but there's also the PC, now increasingly with people like Sony giving indies a chance to go on the consoles. That's another avenue they've got.
Right.
So yeah, I think the opportunities are there now for lots of small teams to have a lot of fun, which is good.
Are you still, I mean, like back in the 80s, you know, I've seen, funny, I saw a video of the personal computer show with you in it. I mean, are you still loving doing it now as opposed, you know, opposed to back then? Is it still the same thing for you?
Well, I mean, I just love making games, really. I mean, a lot of people of my generation, like the old coders, went in and became managers or joined huge teams.
Yeah.
And I never fancied doing that because for me, making games is always a very personal thing. I always made exactly the games that I wanted to play.
Right.
And if I was immersed in somebody else's team, I wouldn't go do that. I don't think as a manager I'd be able to tell other people to make Jeff Minter games. I don't think it would work. So it's something that's, you know, it's a personal mission for me, something which I can only really do myself, or there's two of us now, obviously, and Charles do together. And I guess that's how it's always going to be. I mean, I think I'll stop making games the day I die. You know?
Yeah, keep doing it. I mean, out of your games, I know you've talked about Hover Bobber being a game that's quite close to you, but what game do you think you love the most out of all ones you've ever done? I know it's hard to do, but if you had to pick one particular title, is there anything that stands out for you? Or I could ask you another question. You know, what's your favourite retro arcade game, perhaps?
Oh, my favourite retro arcade game is without doubt Robotron.
Right.
Robotron, I think, is one of the best arcade games ever produced, and I still don't think there's been a twin-stick shooter to this day that has surpassed what Robotron is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's distilled essence of perfection. I mean, it's brutal. It's, you know, fairly simple, but it's just so rewarding when you actually learn to play it. It's really, really amazing, and it looks amazing, and there's so much stuff happening on the screen, you know, for each time it was revolutionary. Fantastic game, and you know, yet another fantastic game from one of my absolute heroes, Eugene Jarvis.
Absolutely. And in terms of like I mean, I know you've got things in development you might not be able to say about, but what things perhaps have you got coming up for next year?
Well, we certainly want to carry on doing more arcade-style stuff. Our engine now supports all three major VR platforms as a matter of course, so I think whatever we do will be VR capable as well. I also would like at some point to get back into doing light synth type stuff, but in virtual reality I think that would be very, very interesting.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thanks for your time, Jeff.
Okay.
Would you like to say a quick shout out to the Games You Love YouTube channel? To camera.
Oh yeah, this is Jeff Bitter. I'd like to give a big shout to the viewers of Games You Love on YouTube.